Today, we're playing Star Wars the deck building game once again, solo, but this time we're testing out the Leaders variant by Azure Death on YouTube, all links in the description below. His variant sees you use this leader dashboard to dictate the moves the bot AI does, and we will of course go through them as we play so you can get the flow of it, but we start with Luke on the board for them, 3 Alliance shuttles and 1 Rebel trooper face up, the other face down, with them of course having full force as usual. The row also stays pretty much the same, with Darth for the Imperials being randomly shuffled into the huge deck. And both of you have your starting outposts, the only difference with the bot being you shuffle up the bases and draw 2 at random to be used later on, and you start with your 10 regular cards, this here being our opening hand as the Imperials go first. And I of course just buy Boba Fett cause he's goddamn Boba Fett of course, and taking him. So how does the bot operate? Well, the first thing you do is place face-up cards from the muster area into the play area. You then flip over the face-down muster cards, ready for the next turn. They then gain resources from all their cards with resource points on them, and the force if it's fully with them. So they have 3 shuttles, giving them 3 points, and 1 from the force, giving them a total of 4 to spend. Next, they will gain force from any cards, offering that if they didn't have the force fully with them. Then they will purchase cards from the row. They prioritise capital ships that they can afford, but if there is none like here, they purchase the most expensive card they can afford closest to the main deck. So here they buy the U-Wing, and if they can't afford anything in the row, they will buy an Outer Rim pilot if they can afford them as a last resort. Whenever they purchase cards, they go into the muster area face down, ready to flip over next turn. Then the bot attacks, and they will prioritise attacking cards in the row they can damage to gain a resource point or force. So as they have 2 damage to deal, they kill the TIE Fighter for 1 and gain a resource point. And then they damage my base with the other. All starter and leader cards for the bot then go back into the muster area face down. All other cards they bought from the Galaxy row and are used are removed from play and exiled. Then it's on to their end turn phase, and they move up 1 space on the track every time, gaining a reward if they pass them or land on them. But they also move extra spaces depending on resources they have left over. So here they had 1 to spend, so they moved 2 spaces on the track, and that's the bot's turn. Let's get back to ours, where we purchase a Fang fighter that instantly goes into our hand. Using it right away along with a Stormtrooper, we kill Cassian Andor, gaining 3 resources and 2 force. So we decide to purchase the Keldor Mystic and a TIE Fighter, attacking their base for 2 damage lastly with our last Stormtrooper. So we will start to move faster now with the bot as they get 3 resources and pick up the Rebel Transport for 2, leaving them with 1 they can't spend. But they do 2 damage to my base with their Rebel Trooper, moving up 2 at the end of the turn and gaining a free shuttle. I use the Keldor Mystic to gain 2 force, meaning it's now with me as I don't exile him. I purchase the Gunslinger for 2 and attack their base for 5, leaving it on 1 health. The bot gets 7 resources and can't heal its base with no force, so just buys the Calamari Cruiser and keeps 1 resource. They then do 2 damage to my base, leaving it on 3 health, the U-Wing then exiling from the game. And as they have 2 to move once more, they gain a force and a Temple Guardian who goes face down in the muster area. So on our turn, we finally purchase a Death Trooper with our shuttles. We then use the Stormtroopers to destroy their base, sending it to the discard pile with the other, who both get exiled from the game when Boba Fett takes out the B-wing from the galaxy row. Now when the bot's base is destroyed, you flip over one of the 2 random bases you drew and place it just above the first lot of text, gaining the bonus corresponding with the health of the base but never using its ability. Here it's 10, so they gain a shuttle, and the highest rebel or neutral card in the row, so they get Jabba's barge for free, face up in their muster area. Brutal. Anyway, they get 6 resources to spend with the 5 shuttles and rebel transport giving 1, so they purchase a blockade runner and another transport, doing 2 damage to my base, leaving it on 1 health as the transport remains in play. On my turn, I use the Mystic to gain 2 force, purchase the TIE Interceptor with the 2 shuttles and Inquisition, before blowing up their transport with my TIE Fighter, exiling it from play. But the bot gets 8 resources to spend and so buys a Duros Spy, a Landspeeder and a Blockade Runner, getting a bumper 10 attack power, and since they sabotage more than attack bases, we remain safe for another turn because they take out Tarkin to gain 3 resources and force, and then Jerry Gerard for 3 force to bring it all the way back to them. The cruiser staying in play whilst Jabba's barge is exiled, and they are only 3 away from gaining Luke. We though have a quick turn where all we can pick up is a frigate. The bot gets 7 resources and now has 3 ships defended its base, so of course they pick up the Falcon. They then do 6 damage, attacking the TIE Interceptor to gain 3 resources they need for Luke, and they also finally destroy our base. Now though, since I didn't hurt Luke, he goes straight into their face-up muster pile and will be here next turn, and they no longer attack the galaxy row. They only attack our base from now on, so the race is on. As we reveal Corellia to be our base and buy the Star Destroyer for free, firing 16 damage at all their ships, destroying them and dealing 4 damage to their base. The bot gets 9 resources to spend, so picks up Princess Leia and an X-Wing, before blowing up my base with 11 damage. Didn't think that through, did I? Oh well. And it's definitely not looking good for us as we go to Endor for our final stand. That gives our fighter and trooper units +1 attack, and it means the TIE Fighter can do 3 damage to the blockade, but it's just not enough as we gain 2 force with the Mystic and then buy a Death Trooper. The bot gets 8 resources, so picks up Labo, a Smuggler and a Gunslinger, before doing 8 damage to our base and basically all but guaranteed to kill us next round, as all we can do is get a frigate in place that heals our base for 3 and purchase an ATST. The bot gets 8 resources, so purchases the Mystic, Jawa and Outer Rim Pilot, not spending the rest. But since the Force is now with them, Luke can blow up my ship for free. And then they rain down a firepower of 14, which instantly destroys my base and wins them the game. So what do I think of this solo mode? Well, I think it's probably one of the best. It feels like you're going against a live opponent more than the others I've played, and this was my 3rd game of this. I defeated the bot as Imperial's first go, but I've now lost 2 in a row, and I think it's very fair. I got unlucky with the draw this one since the ships always appeared for them, but that happens. I personally think you should give this one a try as it has a great flow to it, and it's about the only one I've played where it's actively trying to destroy cards in the row strategically instead of just going for your base constantly, and thus I feel you can build up a deck multiple ways instead of just going defense or high attack all the while. You need to win the resource race here, and it makes it much more compelling for me, but try it out yourself anyway. Links are below, and thanks for watching.